continuing from where I left off yesterday, we are solving trigonometric problems, and the first step, as Jordan I think correctly said, was to label the sides. The first side I've labelled is the opposite side here because it is opposite the angle that we've marked. The next side I'm going to label is this side, and I'm going to label it with an A because it's, which means next to the angle that we're talking about. I could label this side as well. I would label it the hypotenuse or the H. But I'm not going to. Am I Cassidy? Oh, Christy, watching. H. I'm not going to label the H because I'm not needing it in the problem. I'm only needing the A and the O, so I'm only labeling two sides. And just for reference, for maybe those who weren't here, the H is always opposite the 90 degrees. What would be the next step that I would take here? Choose which trig function. I understand what you meant, which button to push, which trig function. To do that, what's the acronym that we remember? Thank you. So katoa. So whenever I see a trig problem, I'm going to write at the top of my page, so katoa. Because I'm dealing with O and A, we now need to choose which trig function, and we choose the one that deals with the O and the A, this one here. We would then draw the triangle for the tan or the tangent. It's written in tan on the calculator, but that's the abbreviated word. It's tangent. And here's the triangle. And we write the tan in the bottom left corner, and then we write O over A. And for those that weren't here yesterday, these both have triangles. It's the sine over H, or cosine A over H. You can see the pattern. The second letter goes at the top, and the third letter goes at the bottom, same as I've drawn for the tangent function. Okay, third step. What do I do? I solve the problem. That's true. How do I solve the problem? Brilliant. The one I'm trying to find is the X, which happens to be the O. So I've scribbled it out, right? Or you can just cover it up with your hand, and you end up having the tan of the angle multiplied by the adjacent side. Okay, so the answer to O, which is equal to X by the way, is A times tan of the angle. In real terms, it is 5 times tan of 56. And then on the graphics calculator, I need a shortcut for this. It is 5. Oops. Here it is. 5 times tan of 56. Hit execute. Oh, I've got a negative answer. Thank you, Liam. Change it from radians to degrees. So, for those with graphics calculators, Shift menu, and down where it says angle, you need to change it to degrees by pushing F1. It is the same on the scientific calculator. You should have a little D on the top of the screen. If you've got an R on the top of the screen, it's set in radians and it needs to be set in degrees. In the exam, they will reset your graphics calculator. You need to be aware that you need to change the mode or change the setting 2 degrees, otherwise through your whole trigonometry section you'll have the wrong answer or answers. So now when I hit execute again, I get the correct answer of 7.4. Does that sound correct? 7.4? Coming back to the problem. Does it? What are the units? Well, we haven't got the hypotenuse, we don't know it. But remember, this angle is bigger than 45. If this angle is bigger than 45, then this side will be bigger than 5. The geometry there. Here's 2C. That's what the question looks like. 30 degrees, 90 there, 6 there, X there. This is what I'd expect, or the minimum amount of working I'd expect for every question that you do. Picture. Label the sides, A, O. Somewhere at the top of your page, you'll have so katoa. Identify which one deals with A and O. It's the toa. Draw the triangle. Tan of the angle, O over A. I'm looking for O. Cover up the O. X now equals, because those two are side by side, 6 times tan of 30. Calculator, 6 tan 30, execute, 3.46. Units are meters. This is question 2L. Here's the picture. 90 degrees, 66, 5.64. First step, Ash, is to Yep. Well, before that, even before I decide on which function, what do? Label the sides. Notice X is opposite. Sorry, the 90 degrees is opposite X, so that's the hypotenuse. This side is, it's the next two. So I've got H and A. Again, you would write the so katoa, and then I would decide which one deals with H and A. Cosine. Triangle. Cosine of the angle equals A over H. You'll get that back to front upside down, but you'll remember that until we're finished with this topic. Cover up the H. Notice this time I haven't, normally I was covering up that top letter. I've now covered up the H. So to solve this problem, watching, x is equal to a over cosine of the angle. Notice the difference? I'm not timesing anymore because a is over the cosine. That's why we have to still plan or still cover up the h. That's what I'm looking for. Cover it up with your finger or your hand, whatever. A over cosine of the angle will give you the answer. It's different to what we've just been doing. A is 5.64. The angle is 66. And go to your graphics calculator. Before I go to the graphics calculator, what am I expecting my answer to be? Positive to start with, but bigger than 5.564, right? Because it's the biggest side of the triangle. So I'd go 5.64 divided by cosine 66. 13.8. And the units are in centimeters.